Ever since its release back in Gen 3, Groudon has had the distinct role of setting sun on the field thanks to its ability Drought. This ability enables many different strategies in Uber's formats, greatly enhancing fire-type attacks, shielding water-weak Pokemon, and enabling abilities like Chlorophyll that activate in the sun. In Gen 6, Groudon gained access to its new primal form while holding the item Red Orb. Groudon Primal is one of the strongest Pokemon ever, with its powerful Desolate Land effect granting a complete immunity to water, leaving it with only one weakness to ground, along with incredible stats and a vast move pool. When we learned that Groudon would be returning to Gen 9 with the release of Pokemon Home, some players, myself included, were doubtful that Groudon would be able to keep up with the increasingly high power level. Groudon no longer has access to the Red Orb to enter its primal form, and with the addition of an even better looking new Sunsetter, Koraidon, some feared that Groudon would be outclassed. But now that Home is here, Groudon is actually performing very well in Gen 9 Ubers. Groudon gained a couple new tools to help it keep up, and although Koraidon is the more popular Sunsetter, they still have different roles, and Groudon excels in areas that Koraidon does not. Let's take a look at why Groudon is still performing so well all these years later, and keeping up with some of the most powerful legendaries we've ever seen in Gen 9. But first, an important question. When Groudon isn't on the battlefield providing valuable utility to Uber's teams, what does it do in the downtime? Believe it or not, Groudon is actually a gamer with very high standards. Groudon only plays games that have hundreds of champions to collect, an in-depth RPG battle system, impressive graphics, and intense PvE boss fights, which is why Groudon's favorite game is Raid Shadow Legends. What I love about Raid Shadow Legends is the challenging endgame content and boss battles that push you to the limit. The Hydra is a boss with 6 different heads. The head of Blight has poison effects. The head of Torment uses Fear to debuff your team. The head of Mischief will steal your buffs and use them for itself. The head of Wrath will enter a powerful vengeance state if it takes a certain amount of damage. The head of Decay will heal all the other heads. And finally, the head of Suffering is the main tank. If you're hungry for even more endgame content, you've fought the Hydra and faced off against other clans. Now you can do both at the same time. Hydra Clash is a new clan-based competition where you and 4 other clans see who can smack the Hydra the hardest. There's sweet rewards on offer too, so rally your clanmates and get ready. Raid is offering new players a free Stag Knight champion, as well as a skin for Stag Knight designed by JonTron. Just use the promo code JTSKIN before October 7th. If you're a returning player, you can still get Stag Knight in the skin through an in-game event. With all of this exciting content and more coming to Raid, if you haven't started playing yet, what are you waiting for? Use my link in the description or scan my QR code to get insane bonuses. We're talking an epic champion Drake and other useful items such as energy refills and XP boosts. Install Raid through my link today to help me reach my goal of 25 installs. Thank you. In Gen 9 Ubers, Groudon sets itself apart from fellow Sunsetter Koraidon in various ways. Koraidon has a high speed and damage output, fighting and dragon stab types, and access to U-turn to pivot out and keep up momentum. While Koraidon can also use more defensive sets with options like Bulk Up and Drain Punch, it is primarily an offensive Pokemon. Groudon sets itself apart by being superior as a defensive Pokemon. Ground typing provides a valuable electric immunity to your team, which can punish a choice-locked Miraidon. And with an enormous 140 base defense stat, and the fact that you're neutral to most of the format's popular physical attackers, Groudon operates very well as a physical check. Groudon also gained 2 excellent new utility moves to improve its efficiency in this role even further. Will-o-Wisp now allows Groudon to cripple physical attackers by burning them. Many Pokemon lost access to status moves like Toxic in Gen 9, with massive moveset cuts across the board, but Groudon is one of the few Pokemon that actually gained a status move. Groudon also gained access to Spikes, a powerful entry hazard that can generate long-term value for your team after a defensive switch. Groudon can be a great buffer against popular physical attackers like Arceus, Koraidon, and Zacian Crown. It can live so many different physical hits from full health, and either counterattack itself with a big Precipice Blades, or use valuable utility moves to bring you closer to victory. But Groudon isn't just defensive, it's also a very effective Wallbreaker. The huge ground stamp damage from Precipice Blades off the back of that enormous 150 base attack stat can really tear through unprepared teams. Skeledirge, Clodsire, Blissey, and Toxapex are some of the most common defensive Pokemon in Ubers right now, and all all of them are greatly threatened by Precipice Blades. With Swords Dance to enhance your breaking power further, you can even chunk through Ting Lu, and with coverage moves like Fire Punch and Crunch, you can even threaten ground immune targets like Corviknight and Giratina Origin. Lumberry is a good choice on this set to shield you from an incoming Will-o-Wisp. This can give you a free turn to Swords Dance, prevent them from reducing damage to an incoming hit, and also scout for Terra. If they spend their Terra to live your Precipice Blades so that they can burn you, you can simply heal it off with the Lumberry, wasting their precious Terra, and probably threatening to finish them off. Groudon's longtime rival, Kyogre, has been a popular choice in Gen 9 Ubers. On its own merits, it's a powerful threat thanks to Water Spout and Choice Specs or Choice Scarf, and other options like Calm Mind sets. But it also creates rain on the field to enable the all-new Pokemon, Basculegion, one of the scariest late-game cleaners in the format. In Ubers, Basculegion's move Last Respects is not banned like it is in OU. This is one of the most powerful moves in singles history. The base power of this move raises by 50 for each fallen party member, allowing it to reach absurd numbers up to 300 base power, KOing just about anything. Groudon is a form of insurance against Basculegion. Clearing Rain and replacing it with Sun will remove Basculegion's Swift Swim speed boost and allow you to revenge KO. Sometimes, you can choose to Terrastalize Water to live an incoming Water Spout from Kyogre and deal significant damage back, hopefully finishing off Kyogre the next time it comes in, either through hazards or some other form of chip damage. This is a big commitment, but it can be worth it to win the Weather War and keep you safe against Basculegion. Some more Terra-type options on Groudon include Ground, which enhances your Precipice Blades damage and helps you wall break, or Fairy to gain Dragon immunity, which helps out against Pokemon like Koraidon and Giratina Origin, and also lets you become neutral to types like Ice, Water, and Grass, which can help versus threats such as Iron Bundle. Terra Normal is also an option I've experimented with, to make you even more solid against Basculegion, not only clearing their rain, but even gaining an immunity to Ghost, allowing you to get a surprise KO against their win condition. I really like Groudon, and think it's one of the most well-designed legendaries ever made, even though it was formerly the only legendary that could set Sun, and now it has some competition in that area. Its inherently powerful traits are still extremely valuable and fit well into this new Ubers metagame. Groudon has proved itself to be immune to power creep. It did receive some small buffs, but it's mostly just the same old Groudon we know and love, still as good as ever. I personally think that as the metagame progresses, Groudon will only become more popular. By the way, I'm aware that I pronounce Groudon in a strange way. When I was younger, everybody at my school said Groudon like this, and I never heard it pronounced any other way until years later. I thought this was an Australian thing, but unfortunately, no fellow Australians came to my defense on this. I guess my school was all just collectively wrong, but I still haven't been able to shake this particular habit. What do you think of Groudon in Gen 9 Ubers? Who's your favorite returning legendary to use in the format? And what would you like me to talk about next? Let me know down below in the comments, and thank you for watching. And of course, don't forget to use my Raid Shadow Legends link in the description or the pinned comment, or scan the QR code on the screen for insane bonuses in game, including an epic champion.